For plebs, by plebs, dropping the Bitcoin-only signal. Pleb Underground. Welcome everyone to the Pleb Underground.
Pleb Underground with a new guest. Plebs never bound by possessions and the rest. Plebs forever grounded, ain't no second best. Eat, lift, stack, but need more than a second rest. The halving is coming in a couple of hours. New liquidity coming. I'm not talking showers. It's the end of the epoch, not making it rain. Mine is under the weather. Call it period pain. Episode 84, and I'm feeling light on the coin. 21 mil, not for those who don't want to join. Episode 84, we need block 840k, recorded not live, we're on halving day. 840 and half, that's 420 day. No rest for the wicked, they sleep when they may. 19 and 20, still April, not May. Bitcoin still niche, still not many au fait. Making the case for Bitcoin, developer, thinking with pace, no shitcoin developer, linking hands, face, arms, wrap, and envelop her. She lights up, 21 million candela. Wake up in the morning, get a little mojo. Bake up, no dawning. Can't be brittle, mojo. Back. Self-sovereign, presidential, no Joe. Run your own node, BTCPrague dojo. Another trip soon, this time to Austin. Splice the liquidity as if I'm Dustin. Cleaning up, in sync, but I'm not Justin. Now I help Bitcoin plus win. Bitcoin mycelium spreading out with high fee. Blocks getting full, new era of high fee. Sometimes I feel trapped by my words, hence the prison of my mind contains my life sentence. Taking my time, no need to dart in. Audio visual, please plug the SCART in. Shitcoiners try, tease, bug you to be parting. You from your sats, them with no heart in. Continuing the mission, they're not like Martin. They just want your coins like Mario Karting. They're crazy cats, we're here with our dog, Mr. Kuchař, co-founder, BTCPrague.
Straight fire, Walton. That was absolutely amazing. And guys, in case you haven't figured it out, our special guest, co-founder of the BTCPrague conference, we've got Martin Kuchař. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, man, for inviting me. It's an honor to be here with you guys. And thank you for the introduction, Walton.
Thank you. It seemed only right that on halving day, we've got the other half of our sponsor joining us. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be absolutely awesome. All right, let's dive into it. We are moving on over to the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers, of course, sourced from Time Chain Stats and Time Chain Calendar, and brought to you by BTCPrague. BTCPrague is the largest and longest running Bitcoin-only conference in the world. It's been going, I think, 12 or 13 years now. They've got hundreds of speakers, thousands and thousands of attendees, and it's only in 2 months' time. You're going to be able to see all of your favorite Bitcoin faces, and you're going to learn about a lot of different things. This is BTCPrague. No shitcoins allowed. Bitcoin only. If you use the code PLEB, you can get a discount of 10% on your tickets, and if you pay in Bitcoin, you can get a further 5% off. So using the code PLEB, paying in Bitcoin, you get 15% off your tickets over at btcprague.com.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 839,956. So close, guys, so close. Wish we could have recorded it during block, 840,000, but that's what it is. Anyways, the Bitcoin fiat exchange, 64,563. Anyways, it's moving super quick. Total public lightning capacity, 4,681. That's right, guys. Fastest fee, 64 sats per VByte. The Moscow time, 1548. Bam. That's right. The numbers.
Okay, so the numbers for me, this is episode 84. We're near 840k block. One number you didn't read off the screen there, Phil, was the difficulty, which was 84 trillion. 84 is all over the place today, guys. It's halving day. I'm getting pumped.
That's kind of crazy. This is kind of crazy, right? The amount of synchronicity, but I'm sure it means nothing. Okay, sure it means nothing. All right, let's take a look at our first. We're going to take a look at our first numbers article. Here we go. if you're paying attention on Bitcoin Twitter, you're hearing a lot about fees. You're hearing people crying and stuff like that. That's all BS. Okay, that this is. I know it sounds crazy. It's actually a good thing. Okay, that this is a good thing that we have people that want to fill the blocks and pay the fees. Anyways, here we go. Tweet from Francis.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Friend to the show. Announcing the Bull Bitcoin fee multiple. Technical indicator that shows if current network fees are high or low relative to past averages to help Bitcoiners make better decisions on when to manage UTXOs or Lightning channels. Walton, thank you very much for sharing this. And I appreciate this. Straight up from Francis, this is great. I can tell you that in certain interfaces, it's kind of really annoying to figure out what it would cost, right? When you're doing UTXO management specifically. I can tell you I was using Ride the Lightning interface on my MyNode, and there's nowhere there to really figure out what it's going to cost to consolidate UTXO. So this is, I think this is pretty good stuff, man. This is good stuff.
One thing I often do when I'm trying to decide when to, make a certain transaction is you look at the mempool and you end up feeling like you're doing like mempool TA, right? You're trying to predict what's going to happen to fees based on what's been happening with fees, right? Mempool TA essentially. Now, Francis, shared this tweet midweek, and I got very excited about it because I haven't looked into it in a lot of detail just yet, but I think deciding when to make transactions can be difficult because you look at the mempool, you look at recent blocks, and you're quite zoomed in on what the fees are, and I think this tool should help people to zoom out and make better judgments on when they can make transactions and maybe how much they're going to cost. Obviously, with the halving coming very, very soon, I think fees are going to be pumping quite a lot with the shitcoinery, which is, it's a good thing for miners, especially as the block reward gets cut in half. But it's going to make things more challenging for other people who want to make transactions, and this tool should help them out.
Yeah, very well said. Martin, what are your thoughts? You've been around the space for a while. How are you feeling about the fees?
Tricky one, actually. As
Double-edged sword, right?
there are many aspects. Like for me personally, of course, like being a Bitcoin user, not losing all the coins in voting accident. I won't be really happy about fees being that high, but come on, right? Bitcoin first layer isn't actually big or scalable enough for everybody on the planet being a Bitcoiner, or it doesn't work with hyper Bitcoinization. So sooner or later, we would definitely need to move somewhere, have different second layers, or maybe another solutions like it's same like with the email, right? Does anybody understand that there's like TCP/IP protocol behind it? No, nobody gives a shit. We just want to send the email, right? So of course, like now fees are high, but we are still too niche and we are still too early, and it somehow would need to develop somewhere. But again, like from this moment perspective, yeah, fees are a bit too high. I will probably wait for maybe some time to consider doing another consolidation or stuff like this. But on the other hand, if you need to send a transaction and you need it to reach the destination address soon, what can you do, right? Not much, actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I probably haven't really answered the question, but there's no proper answer. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's your opinion, right? That's what we wanted. Absolutely, you answered the question. Absolutely.
I mean, to me, this highlights the need for more people running their own Lightning nodes. Like if you're already self-sovereign on Lightning, then you can make payments in a self-sovereign way, and you don't care about when the fees spike.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
It's quite tricky, actually, right? To run your own Lightning node. It's like, hey, run your Lightning node. It's going to be fun. But when you start, you realize that there are so many stuff to understand and to learn. Just channel balancing itself, man. It's so complex, yeah. It's definitely not for everyone, yeah.
I think the tools are better than they've ever been. Like I'm not a developer, like, and I've been running one continuously for 3 years. Have I had problems? Yeah, sure. But there's a phenomenal community of people out there that'll help you. There's essentially 24/7 tech help when it comes to Lightning, thanks to a few communities like PlebNet, Node Runners in the Netherlands. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones like. There's a Japanese one called Diamond Hands or something like that. That like there really are a lot of people out there who are very, very willing to help you if you want to learn more about how to run your own Lightning node.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Bitcoiners
totally.
are very helpful. All right, we're going to move on to our next article. Let's take a look. This is a tweet from at what is that? Mononautical? Anyways, awesome account that does a whole bunch of Walton, you're talking about mempool TA. He is like a mempool investigator. Okay, like this guy
this
is
guy's
awesome.
phenomenal.
Awesome.
I think he built another site. Did he build Bitfeed? Am I right with that? And then he got like hired by mempool to do a whole bunch of like cool graphics. So people have been seeing the that thing with what is it called, Marathon, a couple of weeks ago, where they put the M like that. That's his like visualizer. He's good at visualizing what blocks look like for people. But yeah, fees have been spiking. I saw another one earlier today. Again, they bumped it from like 89,000 up to like 95,000 sats per VByte, and paid something like, I don't know, 20 million sats on like half on a 50 million sat transaction. This one here, maybe was it even worse? I don't know. But there's just people like crazy high sats going on. Now, why are they doing this? Well, I think it's because they're like ordinal tards, right? Like these are people that want the first sats in a block. And my understanding is when it comes to miners is they put the highest fee rate transactions in first. So if you want the first sats in a block, though they don't really exist, then this is how you go about doing it. And so I think people are degenerates are practicing throwing more of their sats away to get some special sats to make them feel more special because their parents don't love them enough.
That's definitely a great take, Walton. I don't know if anybody really noticed that in like old hacker terminology, this spells elite. So, like elite, right? Like the 1337, like that's
yeah.
So it's funny because Mononaut said it's not even a mempool snipe, just good old fashioned fat finger mistake, unless someone is practicing for the halving block. But I gotta tell you, I think it's more about that elite number. This is a flex. This is a flex transaction with a flex fee payment. Come on, man. Overpaid 2,180x. This is like that's a flex transaction. That's what that is. Martin, what are your thoughts on this before we wrap up the numbers?
I would still bet more like bet on that fat finger stuff.
Yeah?
But that's part of the being self-sovereign, right? You can play, you can maybe flag too, or you can just fat finger. Being a self-sovereign means that you need to take the responsibility even for overpaying the transaction by 2,000 times, man. It's wonderful.
Maybe it highlights also a need for wallet software UX to improve a little bit. To say, do you really want to pay this fee, like some sort of I don't know. Like I think this one, I think you're right. I think maybe it was a fat finger, but I think when it comes to these transactions that get RBF'd to like crazy high fee rates, I think my theory is pretty accurate.
Guys, let us know what you think. Put it in the comments. This wraps up the numbers, and we are going to move on over to the Fireside Chat. The Fireside Chat is brought to you by BTC Pins. Use your code PlebUnderground for 5% off absolutely awesome pins. Boom! The pin collection. That's right. Use your code off awesome, high-quality pins from btcpins.com. Use the code PlebUnderground for 5% off. Welcome back, everyone. You know the deal, Fireside Chat. We've got Martin Kuchař joining us today, co-founder of BTCPrague. Now, we had your brother on the show, and it was absolutely awesome. And he started to dive into some Czech Republic history. Now, before we talk about that, though, because I know that you've talked about this on other shows, and we're gonna provide the links to those shows in the show notes, so you guys can go check out those full those kind of full length commentary. But before we dive into that, I want to talk about BTCPrague, because we were talking before the show, and you were talking about how, you know, when you're doing something like this, you know, you're always trying to improve, right? Even if it's a small step. And I kind of wanted to kick it off with what have been some of the challenges that you've had, and some of the improvements that you've made based on those challenges. Let's start off with that, because it is a massive show, right? The biggest show in Europe, Bitcoin only. So you must have
Yeah, man,
something.
strictly Bitcoin only. Yeah, that's the only way, you know. Yeah, but Bitcoin won't be such a successful thing without the shitcoins. So I do not want to like thank shitcoins, but it's part of the game too. You know, like even blind paths are showing us which one is the right one. So, but
You mean like
let's
some
not
people
talk.
have to make like what do they say? Some people learn through the mistakes of others, and some people learn painfully through making their own mistakes. And shitcoins provide that for them.
Kind of, yeah. And you know, we all need to learn our mistakes by ourselves, I would say. Yeah, it's like part of the learning curve. But back to the BTC Prague, or like how we do events in general, basically. That's you mentioned it, that we like somehow try to improve every single thing or every single stuff which is there. And we always start like from the feedback. So after the conference, we just send like a questionnaire to all of our visitors asking, hey, what was good? So we know what we shall like keep and what sucked, and what were the struggles where you haven't been like aware enough what's happening around. And we are always like interesting to hear like the negative feedback first, because that's the place where we can learn. I believe that our ego is like mostly okay with it, and that's where we start. So maybe just, or maybe I'm gonna say it in different way. Just, you know, even management, there's only one constant, like only one thing is for 100%. That is the fact that something is gonna fuck up or broke or not gonna end up well. And it's about like to being able and capable of getting rid of the troubles as soon as possible when the conference runs, because you cannot postpone it, right? And we always start with this. So like, just maybe to give you an example, for example, the quality of audio quality on the main stage sucked, because the whole hall, it's more like Amazon distribution center. So it's like a concrete hall with a lot of iron and a lot of steel. So the echoes are like really crazy there. And it wasn't like really easy to get rid of them. We learned a lesson. This year it's gonna be hopefully improved. And like, for example, yeah, there were like some small fuck ups that people were parking cars in front of the main entrance where nobody should be allowed to be, or like the security guys allowed some visitors to go to the places where nobody should be because it was maybe a bit too dangerous or stuff like this. And there are always things like that can be improved and that should not have appeared or happened, but you know, people, that's it. And we want to get them improved. So we always like ask ourselves, okay, was this enough? Or was this okay? Usually the answer is, yeah, it was okayish. It can be better. I thought, or I saw, or I heard that this thing can be done in this way or in that way. And then we try to implement it, you know. Somehow, sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't really make sense. And when we try to understand if it makes sense, we are just trying to push ourselves or get ourselves to the position of being like the visitors. So we have like a whole floor plan of the venue printed here on the table, and we just try to somehow walk inside of the venue, trying to realize if there are some, let's say, any blind spots where visitors can get somehow lost? If yes, let's put a beer there, or let's put music there, or let's put another booth there, or maybe let's put a navigation banner there, or stuff like this. So we really try to
I
feel
love that.
and be like visitors, and we always try to do the conference for the pleb first. Yeah. So we support that bottom-up approach as much as possible. And I believe that's the reason why like plebs love the BTC Prague so much, even while being surrounded with the business and with the companies and etc. But it's because we matter the pleb first always.
I really appreciate that. And it's interesting that you mention the surrounding businesses. So tell me, I'm assuming that you get approached by shitcoin VCs, shitcoin companies. Like, how much of a challenge is it essentially not to take funding from them and try to keep this BTC only? And would you say that is it difficult? Is it, let's say, more difficult to get funding from BTC companies versus the I guess you'd say the altcoin VCs? Like, I feel like that's I feel like that's all very tricky. Anyways, I don't know how clear my question was, but hopefully you can answer part of that.
It was pretty clear, and I must admire that you pushed it, or like said it in a very diplomatic way, actually. But it's from time to time it is actually challenging. So maybe like we even got sued by Italian scammers, which we did not allow to come and be part of the BTC Prague. Luckily, our lawyer is a good guy, good friend of us, so he got rid of them in like very okayish way. But for us, it's a no-go. So it's not a struggle, or it's not a hard. Of course, like we are probably losing money in the short term, but in the long term, that's the only way how we can stay on a sustainable level. Because I can say we really feel like responsible for every single visitor of ours. I definitely do not want to meet any of our visitors someday in the future approaching me we were saying like, hey, Martin, what was that project XYZ, which was on BTC Prague 24? I thought that they are legit, as you should or shall curate them somehow. I've lost $10,000 on them, man. So I really feel responsible. And the answer is, if we feel responsible, the only companies we can really go with are the Bitcoin focused ones, because that's which probably gonna be the longest here with us. Of course, maybe someday some like Bitcoin 2.0 might happen. I don't know. But so far, Bitcoin is the only legit one. It's strictly no shitcoin, strictly no bullshit, no NFTs, no ordinals, no inscriptions, no stuff like this. I really want our pleb and our visitors to go well in the future.
Funny
can we probe a little bit
ahead,
on? So I feel like there's an increasing group of people that look at I don't know, shitcoins on Bitcoin and say, well, they're on Bitcoin, so people are it's creating more demand for Bitcoin. It's people selling something for Bitcoin only. Is that not a good thing? What do you say to those kind of comments?
Yeah, I don't agree with that, saying that if it markets Bitcoin, it's good for Bitcoin. That's probably not a valid observation or a valid approach, because we have to consider and measure if it's like sustainable for Bitcoin itself. For example, and like ad absurdum, right? Ordinals can really kill Bitcoin. If people will just put much more money into the Bitcoin, of course, that we can then say if Bitcoin won't manage it, probably it wasn't good enough. Maybe that might be like the approach. But like having shitcoins on Bitcoin, there are still shitcoins, right? It's not about like, it's not black and white first. So Bitcoin is good, shitcoins are bad, of course, but putting shitcoins on Bitcoin doesn't make them valid, right? And of course, if there's some like money printer behind it, just Bitcoin doesn't solve the problem, right? So we really need to go into details. We really need to understand what the project is about, and we need to maybe judge this case by case. I don't want to like, and it's hard to draw the line, or maybe let me put it in this way, yeah. So we need to curate it, or maybe measure it case by case, because of course, on one hand, shitcoins are shitcoins, shitcoins on Bitcoins are still shitcoins, but maybe we're gonna need some other solutions on Bitcoin to help the hyper Bitcoinization, because from this perspective, Bitcoin is definitely technically not ready for hyper Bitcoinizations. Shitcoins on Bitcoin won't solve the struggle, but we shall somehow like be open for maybe some other reasonable solutions. But maybe let me get back to the question. So yeah, if it helps, if it brings new people into the Bitcoin, it's good for the Bitcoin. I don't actually consider this saying being valid, because if it brings more people, it can even kill Bitcoin. So we shall maybe focus on this first and on the people second. I don't know, man.
I'm intrigued by
This
this.
kind
You
of
say,
philosophical, yeah.
I'm intrigued by this comment. You said shitcoins on Bitcoin could kill Bitcoin. Can you expand a little bit on this theory? I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Yeah, if people will buy shitcoins because they think that they are legit because they are Bitcoin shitcoins and got wrecked, they probably will end up with like a feeling that, oh, whole Bitcoin stuff is scam, is Ponzi, because they don't understand the details. They aren't able to understand the technology behind, they are much less how to say it, like educated than we are probably. We can see the difference. We can probably say, okay, this is shitcoin on Bitcoin, it's not Bitcoin, it's shitcoin. But maybe someone hearing this is like Bitcoin mined or wrapped or something like stuff, it's Bitcoin 2.0, it's much better, it can give you something, I don't know what, like maybe pink ponies or name it. They probably won't understand that it's still like dangerous. They will consider it being invalid because they heard Bitcoin, and that might end up not well for Bitcoin itself. But I'm kind of over expressing myself just to put it in the right context now.
I agree with what you're saying, but I don't, in terms of that it'll put certain people off. But I don't see it as like an existential threat to Bitcoin. I see it as an existential threat to those people's livelihood, right? Those people are the people who are going to get wrecked. Their maybe it really wrecks their lives, maybe etc. But does it actually damage Bitcoin? I don't know.
It's a social attack vector. Like that's really what that is. It's a social attack vector. I get what you're saying.
All
Martin.
shitcoins are a distraction kind of thing, like away from. Yeah, I agree with that.
Exactly, but like think of it like this, right? Right now, when people get wrecked, right, with shitcoins, they already think this whole Bitcoin thing is a scam. Okay, and that's far removed, right? Like that's how bad the perception has become. So it's like we're bringing it one step closer. Right? Like we're bringing this one step closer, and now it's like, hey, wait a second. It's like that other thing that isn't Bitcoin was a total grift, but I used this thing that was on Bitcoin, and I feel like I got scammed. And I think I just want to point out, though, right? It has to do with the marketing of these things. These things, to me, that people are doing, right? They are not scams. They are grifts. It's a little bit, to me, it's a little bit different. And I'm not saying that somehow that's better than scam. I'm just simply trying to clarify it and to essentially, separate it, because it isn't the exact same thing. Because essentially, you're getting marketed this thing, okay, which is, not entirely. It is what it is, but it's the scam is in the marketing, right? Like this thing isn't a store of value; it's a grift, as opposed to an outright rug pull. Which to me is a scam, So anyways.
I like that take, Phil. A question from Martin. Do you know NVK from CoinKite?
Yeah, sure.
So NVK says that Bitcoin conferences are a scam.
He goes to them.
I personally don't agree, but what
does he mean by this?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess anything. It's like, I don't know. Like, what isn't a scam, right? It's like if I don't know. Like if it's not Bitcoin, is it a scam? Like I don't know. I don't know. I think to me it's I think it's a bad take when you paint when you group everything together, when you generalize. That's often like if you're missing nuance, then it's often a bad take. To me, there are many conferences that maybe lead some people astray that are affinity scams on Bitcoin. But if your conference is Bitcoin only and is pushing Bitcoin education and Bitcoin community, I don't see how it can be a scam. You're not promising. If your conference isn't all about hype, if it isn't all about the short term, if you're telling people to learn more and zoom out, I don't see how you can say Bitcoin conferences are a scam.
Yeah, I think that like this general perspective is just wrong, You cannot say just Bitcoin conferences are scam, because everything is scam then, Yeah, like, right? The devil is always hidden in the details. Like you cannot say like technology is scam, because technology is neutral, right? It depends how people use it, and there are like bright and dark ways of do so. But just saying it from BTC Prague perspective, just me personally, I know like 5 people who found a job in Bitcoin only company thanks to BTC Prague, because they came there, they met them at the booth, end up with like a nice conversation by the beer, had fun, and realized that there's something they can do together, and they quit their fiat job and became like true hard Bitcoiners working for Bitcoin only. So our conference is scam.
Wow.
I don't really think so, man.
It's okay. NVK's just mad at everybody. We're probably going to get a sub tweet about this episode on Tuesday, just like we got when we had the seed signer guy on. God. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna.
Maybe I would like to know more from NVK what he thinks or what he was thinking about while this being said. But maybe he's right on some perspective, and maybe just we are missing something. Yeah, just to be 100% fair on this.
I appreciate your objective take.
I think NVK is a smart dude who's just hacking the Twitter sphere, because if you post, and this is everyone knows this, all Bitcoiners do this, like you post like somewhat of a contrarian take, it does numbers, and that's good for business. Like if you're selling anything, or you're trying to grow a brand or whatever it is, if you post something that gets strong support and strong opposition, it's gonna do good numbers. People are gonna talk about it, and it drives clicks, and you can make some money.
This is scam, man.
Speaking of which, I did order the queue. It is on the way. His that new wallet that the new signing device that he came out with, the Q1. Yes, don't worry. I'm making sure I get it right more often than wrong. So yeah, I am excited to get that. So to give credit where credit is due, they do make a good signing device. Yeah. Okay. So hold on. We're gonna switch gears. We're gonna switch gears here. But before we do, where can people find more information about BTC Prague?
Yeah, first I would start on our webpage, like btcprague.com. Everything important is basically there. Even plan your trip site. So I believe that everything is well covered there. And of course, we have our Twitter where we post all of announcements, all of the informations, even like fun stuff regarding Prague and how we are orange pilled here in the middle of the Europe. So that's probably a great place to start. Then webpage. And of course, anybody can DM us on the Twitter or reach us using email on hello.btcprague at btcprague.com. Yeah, easy
Fantastic.
as that.
We're going to add that all to the show notes for everyone. And guys, don't forget to use what's our code, Walton? Is it pleb or pleb underground? I always get confused. I think with them it's pleb.
Oh, I thought it was pleb.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pleb. Guys, that's in the show notes. We've got a code for 10% off. And if you pay in Bitcoin, you get an additional 5% off, guys, 15% off. Check it out. All right, moving on from the conference. As I said at the beginning of the show, you had been on a few podcasts discussing the, I guess maybe the the history between the freedom fighter or freedom fighting mentality or culture in the Czech Republic. And like I said, we're going to put the information in the show notes for those shows for people who want to go check it out. But if you wanted to just provide a quick overview and a summary about this for the viewers before we move on to the next segment.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna make it like long story short or make it quick. I don't really want to give to your plebs like history
much,
lesson
but enough.
of Czech Bitcoinism. But yes, understanding why Bitcoin is so strong and so popular in Czech Republic. Just some numbers, like 3% of our population here in Czech Republic is orange pilled. That's the best approximation we have. So we are a small country, 10 million inhabitants. So that means like that 300,000 people are orange pilled or somehow into crypto to be like a really fair. Which is cool, right? And it origin even from our history. It's like old. What now? And
not related to crypto, but yeah, that's what we're objecting to there. But keep going. Keep going.
We like the Bitcoin part. Sorry.
Yeah. They are already orange pilled. That and it origin from 15th century, and when we fought for our freedom, we need to understand we are a small country placed in the middle of the Europe, surrounded by the mountains. We have like Germans on one side, old like Eastern Bloc led by Soviet Union back then before the Berlin Wall went down. So we were never really free, we were part of the German monarchy, Austrian-Hungary monarchy then, part of the Germany during World War II, part of the Soviet Union bloc, non-officially, but still led by their army troops here in the middle of the Europe. So we always had to somehow fight for our sovereignty, for our freedom here in Czech Republic. And mostly, and this is like most crucial for the Bitcoin success here in Czech Republic is the communism, It lasted since 1948. And Berlin Wall went down in 1989. Velvet Revolution happened in Czech Republic a few weeks after. So finally we got rid of the communism. But during that crazy era, nothing was available in the stores or in the stock, like even like the basic goods. So we as the Czechs, we were always like forced to create and develop things we liked or we wanted to have by ourselves, like furniture, electronics, sport equipment, name it, basically, There were like long lines, man. You cannot imagine just on the street just to buy a banana in the store or to buy an orange back then, like really crazy.
But I thought communism was about community and doesn't everybody, what about everybody's fair share? What you're suggesting here means that's not true.
Yeah. We were all equal. We all had nothing. Yeah.
But wow, that's totally different than the crap they're selling everybody on mainstream media these days. They're showing everybody kumbaya. They're having a great time, right? Everybody's walking around having, what they want. It's all about equity and inclusion and that feel good. Yeah. For some reason, I feel like you guys.
Someone has to pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
And
sorry, continue.
Yeah, but that's a good observation. Yeah, it's definitely not. There's not a single point nice on communism, man. It's like it's a trap. It's a trap in the name of like being equal stuff. But as nothing was available in the stores and people like to do sport or anything, they kind of learned the craftsmanship on different perspectives. And even after the communism, it became like part of our local culture, So we like to create stuff by our hands. We like to take care of our gardens by ourselves. And we are like creators. And it's so present in Bitcoin, even in Bitcoin, because, first hardware wallet, Trezor, was developed in Prague. First mining pool, Slush Pool, origin from Prague. First Bitcoin ATM, origin from Prague. Seed phrase, BIP39 standard, origin from Prague again. And it's not a coincidence because those OGs who were present in Prague they were just trying to solve their own problems, you know, by themselves. So they thought, hey, I have this private key. Probably having this on a paper is not a good idea. Having it on some third-party software application in my laptop, probably not, either not a good idea. Maybe we shall come up and create some kind of piece of hardware, cold storage, which we can keep somewhere securely stored, being sure that it's okay. And again, with mining, right? They were mining already back then, and they said, hey, like finding a block by myself, it's hard, but maybe when we combine our hash rate, we will increase our probability, and then we can share the reward, right? And again and again, it just repeats itself from different perspectives, but that's basically it, you know. That explains why we are such creators in Bitcoin and leaders of the industry from its very beginning.
Quick question. I mean, I have a couple of comments. First, I agree with the building a product that you want to use that solves a real problem for you, like, is the best way to build a product that is going to get adopted by other people. Last week we had a guy called Alex Waltz, and I want to bet against him because I said these two guys that created Trezor and etc. I think they also came up with BIP39, right? These named seed phrases, right? 12 words, 24 words, whatever.
Yes.
I want to bet against Alex Waltz, a gentleman's bet, because I said the two guys that made this, they put their names in the word list. He's like, no, that's not true. I'm like, no, they did. They put not their names. They put their handles in. So Slush, and I'm trying to think the other one. It's
Stick.
Stick, thank you. Slush and Stick are both in that list of words, which I think is kind of cool. But my question for you, you're saying mining pools, it's people like pooling their resources and sharing things. That sounds like communism, sir. A mining pool is not communism.
Oh man, tough one, yeah. No, it's not, because they all pay the electricity bill by themselves, right? They all pay the maintenance costs. They all pay the hardware by themselves. They're not getting anything for free from the equal system. So definitely it's not a communism. It's like just friendly help, right? If you just go really deep into the detail.
Did he
right,
just...
it's voluntary collaboration. I agree with you. It's deliberately triggering kind of question, but I'm with you on that, Phil.
Did Martin just debunk that mining pools are a central point of failure? Because wait a second, these guys can leave. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make light of the fact that we do know that there is some quote unquote minor centralization, right, in Bitcoin. We talk about this, like, we don't try to hide it. But it's, again, it's good for people to be aware of indeed the lack of control truly that Bitcoin mining pools actually have over your miner. And I myself, I'm connected to CK Pool. And it's a solo mining pool, right? And technically I can point that thing to Ocean if I want, right? I can point it to Slush Pool if I want. So I think Brains Pool as well now. But
yes.
Anyways, like, my point is that, like, yes, and I do think that is something. I wanted to touch quickly back on something that you said, because it seems that communism kind of created this necessity for invention for you guys, right? Because you were put into these situations, you were forced to innovate. And I believe it's similar type of thing with Bitcoin. And we're starting to see these, like, little miners, like the Apollo miners, coming with their own mining their own mining pool implementations, right? So you can actually point your own miners to your own pool, which I think is very cool. Now, I understand it's a very small scale, drop in the bucket for now, but I think that changes. And I do really appreciate it. I noticed, right, like, obviously Trezor came out of Czech Republic as well, but and Slush Pool did too, right?
Yes. Slush Pool was founded in 2010 already. Yeah, it's like really crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is nuts. Very, very cool.
You guys were founded 2011, right? As the European Bitcoin conference. Is that right?
I'm sorry?
So BTCPrague was originally the European Bitcoin conference, and that was in 2011? Is that right?
No, man. Actually, first year of BTCPrague happened last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Yeah, you are probably talking maybe about a Hackers Congress in Paralelní That's like a hackerspace in Prague. And there's like a Hackers Congress happening already for 11 years, I suppose, or kindish. But like, yes, the very first Bitcoin conference actually happened in Prague in 2011, but it wasn't us.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay. Well, then I've been
Okay,
misspeaking in some of these ads, but oh well.
We're
No
gonna
worries,
switch
yeah.
it. It's gonna get updated.
But yes, first Bitcoin conference happened in Prague. Max Kaiser was there, and few other OGs, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, guys, look, this wraps up the Fireside Chat. But before we go, Martin, one more time, best place for people to get more information about BTC Prague.
Yeah, I'll go to btcprague.com, our webpage, everything's there. I believe that it's like pretty obvious. It's easy to find the information there, even how to get to Prague. And yeah, maybe just it's worth of saying for like US-based listeners that if they haven't visited or they consider coming to Bitcoin conference, I believe that the Prague is really best way of going to Europe. Of course, like flight tickets might be expensive. I don't know, like maybe 1,200 round trip, kindish, from US to Prague, but everything else is like really affordable. Like living or like being accommodated. Meal.
How much is beer, sir? How much is the beer?
$2, $2 for a half a liter. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
And the
Very
best
nice.
beer on the planet. That's quite important to mention, man.
I don't drink beer, but I know that'll be a selling point for many.
Yes, definitely be a selling
and the
point for many.
great steaks, man. Great steaks and great pork meat, actually. If you would like to try something else, and just come on, like Prague itself is wonderful. It's like medieval city, wasn't really bombed out during World War II. So many, like really 600 years old buildings are still there, and it's definitely like
Wow.
breathtaking. Yeah.
Very nice. Guys, all right, well, so I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. All those links.
No, it's the Czech Republic, not Hungary, Phil.
Not hungry. I apologize. But I know, but he talked about steak. He talked about pork. And I'm like, all right, we're getting close to supper time. All of the details he was talking about are going to be in the show notes. That wraps up the Fireside Chat. And we are going to move it on over to REKT.
Up next, we have REKT, sponsored by Proof of Ink. Proof of Ink are a Bitcoin clothing brand based in the United States of America, with some of the most incredible collaborations, including with us, PlebUnderground. If you go over to proofofink.com, you can buy your own PlebUnderground merch and a bunch of other products. And if you use the code PLEB, you can get a 5.8% discount on all of these items. Here you see the Taco Pleb hoodie. There are also some t-shirts available. Once again, that's proofofink.com, 5.8% off if you use the code PLEB. Welcome back to REKT. We have a few stories for you this week. The first, normies getting mad about inflation. One of my favorite things, because it seems like even I mean, this, I'm gonna play the clip in a moment, but this girl seems like she's probably making some good money, but she's getting shocked at how the prices of things are going up. I'm gonna play this for you now.
I literally just did grocery shopping right at Whole Foods, and look at this. Guess how much this is? Okay, this is an apple. It's called a sugar beet fucking apple, apparently. And look at it, the size of my palm. I thought it was probably just like $2 to $3. I scanned this mother effer. I scanned it. $7 fucking dollars. 7. Literally the moment I scanned it, I was like, wait, what? Because the thing is, I had to weigh it, and it was like I don't fucking know. And I weighed it, and then there was like one of the staff members, I was like, excuse me, is this actually $7? And she like input all her information. She was like, yeah, $7. What economy? Genuinely, what economy are we fucking living in that it costs $7 to buy an apple? I could have sworn like some other apple that I bought from here was not fucking $7. That's crazy. Like $7 for a latte? Okay. This apple better be tasting so fucking good because I was just fucking craving an apple. I was like, oh my god, maybe I want an apple with peanut butter and cinnamon. This apple better be, and this thing that I got, this tofu was only $4. I think it was $4. I already think that paying like $5 for an apple is a lot. $7 fucking dollars. Fuck this shit, bro.
So,
She mad.
She mad. She's kind of cute though.
mad.
Like, and I think like the more we have, like, it's not just like nerds getting like bothered about inflation. You got, girls like, with maybe some, social following getting mad about inflation. It's gonna wake some people up and they start asking more questions. $7 for an apple.
I mean,
Now tofu's a shit coin, so like fuck tofu, but apples, like, that's crazy.
Tofu
$7.
should be like 5 times more expensive to avoid people buying it, man. Yeah.
They should pay you to like have tofu. I wouldn't eat tofu unless someone's paying me to have it.
do you see the brainwashing though? Right, a latte should cost $7, right? So sugar, right? Sugar, fat, and water, right? Should cost $7, but yet the healthy apple grown in a farm that took real resources to produce that should cost less. Now, again, I'm not saying that I'm justifying the price of the apple. What I am saying is that we're kind of mind fucked. Like this, like we live in a nonsensical society, and I got to say, like, where I'm trying to think of like where she could live, where a single apple costs $7. Like I'm thinking California or British Columbia in Canada. I don't know where else you're going to pay these absurd. And now I'm curious, and I'm going to go next time I go to Whole Foods. I'm going to go take a look to see if I could find these $7 apples. And the last piece I wanted to say is this, right? It's very interesting that TikTok is the avenue where these people are choosing to voice all of this. And I never thought I would see so many videos of people genuinely being upset about what things cost. For real. Like I actually genuinely felt like the average person would just continue to goose step along and not care. Anyways, guess they're starting to care.
How much is an apple in the Czech Republic?
Oh man, it's like $2 a kilo.
Yeah, so you're getting way more than one apple.
Yeah.
I feel like in the US has a real problem with this sort of thing because when I go to the US, like food is at least double the price. Now I try and work it out because I'm like, wait, you guys, your fuel, like petrol, diesel, gas, right, is half the price. Why is all the food double the price? And then I go, okay, well, maybe some of this is just about geography, right? Like maybe it's just because everything travels further in the US, and maybe it's about demand. Maybe it's about the fact that like the US is like, the home of fast food, the home of Fiat food, and it creates weird like supply demand, I don't know, things where they're just like you can buy shitty food really cheap, but actually buying healthy food is a challenge. I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that Apple actually costs $7 and you can go to In-N-Out for less, right? Yeah.
This is
This
crazy.
doesn't simply make sense. Yeah.
And this
Something's
is in
wrong.
Whole Foods, right? Like this is in a like a supermarket, like in a grocery store. This isn't
upscale grocery store. Upscale-ish grocery store.
but still,
I know,
like, it's
I agree.
not. It's like we have in the UK there's something called Waitrose, which is kind of like the fancy one. Like you could probably get like, I don't know, 4 apples for $4 or $5. Like it's that's a real multiple. I feel like even if you go to, I don't know, Starbucks or something, I feel like you go to like a coffee chain that like and that's where you can really overpay for a single piece of fruit. But in the US, it's like a multiple compared to elsewhere. Yeah, they don't want you eating fruit. Why don't they want you eating fruit? I don't know. Very strange.
Overpaying for single pieces of fruit is a shitcoin. Yep,
That's
it
the
is.
scam. That's the scam, man.
it's convenience, right? People
Right?
try and save time, and it costs them much more. All right, guys. Up next, another little clip for you. This time shared from Tales from the Crypt, or I think they changed actually what it's called
now it's just TFTC. TFTC.
Yeah, but I think they actually renamed what it stands for. Anyway, like
well,
whatever.
it'll always be Tales from the Crypt to me. So
yeah. Anyway, to me, so this is some guy in Canada trying to withdraw his own money. Well, his own money, right, from the bank because he wants cash to buy something. Let me play you this clip.
I can't. Well, wait, I don't understand. What are you talking about?
So I will either give you a bank draft, or if you're gonna get cash, I will need an invoice for the car purchase.
Why? No, I'd like to. It's for the car's payments for in cash. I can't use a bank draft.
Are you buying from like a private?
Yeah, it's private.
person?
It's literally from my friend.
From your friend?
Yeah, but he wants it in cash.
Can he give you like anything that you purchase it from him?
No, I don't. You don't need that. Bro, what is it? I'm only asking for 3. What is this? It's my money. I'm allowed to withdraw from my own bank account.
Yeah, so I can.
You said that. What's the maximum limit you can give a withdrawal to a customer? It's $3,000 on the day. You've already mentioned that multiple times.
Yeah, not today.
Why not today?
Today I would need a bank draft, or I would get an invoice.
But what you don't? You need proof of what it is. Why is that? And why is that? Why is that? Why do you need me to tell you what it is? Why do you need? What kind of proof is that? I bring in a note. Like what? How is that? What is that going to change? I don't understand.
So that would
You need to give me my money.
buying.
I'm not taking a bank draft. I would like cash, please.
Yeah, I won't be able to give you cash today.
Okay, wait. I'm just going to sit here until you give me cash. So I'm not going to leave.
Okay, well, if you want, you can have a sit there.
And then do what? Who am I waiting for?
I can get the.
All right, guys, I'm going to stop it there. Apologies, the audio was a little bit quiet on there, but
no,
essentially this man's trying to withdraw about the cash limit apparently per day in the US, in Canada from his own bank account because he wants to buy something from a friend and wants to pay in cash. I think we're going to see more and more of this sort of behavior where the state and TradFi try and extend their control over what's supposed to be your money. There is definitely a campaign against cash. Why? There's a campaign essentially against sovereignty, right? Against you choosing how to exchange value for things. And Bitcoin, to quote the white paper, right, is a peer-to-peer electronic cash. And I think the more and more we have of society clamping down on people using cash as a medium of exchange, the more it's going to highlight the need for Bitcoin. I'm of the opinion that by the end of the decade, it's going to be really, really difficult, if not impossible, to buy beef using fiat. And this will be especially so if cash gets banned. Gents, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a very good point. Martin, I'm very curious to know, in Czech Republic, do you know of anybody who has been debanked or anything like this? Or in this case, right, just completely censored?
Yeah, maybe I will start from different angle first. Yeah, that it's just terribly sad and wrong, seeing something like this happened. And I'm really sorry for that guy. Hopefully, like such a video will allow other people understand that the money in their banks is not theirs anymore. They have just some kind of like good word from the bank that if they ask for their money, that they will get it. But we are seeing that this is already not valid anymore, right? And here in Czech Republic, it doesn't happen yet, I would say. But we are slowly getting there. So, for example, when I was trying to get, actually, I realized that it's already here. Yeah, I was trying to open another bank account in another bank because I do not want to have my money in the Russian one. Actually, And they told me that they won't actually open another bank account for me without any explanation, because they actually cannot give me an explanation by law. So it's actually already here. Like, it's just another or like maybe different example, but yeah, it's already here. And if you want to get your bank account opened, they have like for the business purpose, they have like such a long list of questions, and you cannot avoid them in any way. Yeah. And you cannot ask what they are for. They aren't they actually cannot tell you what they're gonna do with the answers. They cannot explain you anything. You have only option: answer them if you want your bank account to be opened. Easy as that. And you do not need to agree. But if you don't agree, please, there's a door, man. You are free to go, right? So yeah, it's absurd, man. It's absurd. Yeah. And I'm quite surprised that people still don't get it. Yeah.
Can't believe that anybody would put up with that behavior. Even the bank teller, I mean, put yourself in the customer's shoes. I mean, this is ridiculous regulation. If I worked for a bank, I would be able to recognize that this is terrible behavior. I can say that for the normie company I worked in, when I saw stuff like this happen, I was like, no, I am not going to do what they think is right for the company. I'm going to do what's right for the customer, what's right. You know what I mean? And anyways, yeah.
But how many people have principles when they're pressured by authority, right? This is the concept of like, what is it? In like Nazi Germany, and then I'm trying to think the experiments that is it the Milgram experiments? I get confused about what the name of it, but it's essentially it was like, is it Milgram experiments that were done? Essentially, it's like someone's there's this it's a psychological experiment, but there's some people sitting in one room who's the test subject, and then there's another person that they can't see that's in another room that's actually an actor. Now, the person in the first room is told by some superior, essentially, to press this button, and it electrocutes the person in the other room. And then they're asked to turn up the voltage and keep pressing the button. And the person in the room, in the other room, starts screaming louder and louder at this actor. The idea is that the first person, this test subject, is being tested to see whether they will continue to perform in their role in a position when they should be questioning their own judgment because of the impact it's having on the person, on the actor in this situation that they don't know is an actor. And most people, it's been shown, will essentially follow orders despite that stimulus, despite that they are hurting someone else. They're just, I'm just doing my job. It is a cop out, but it is also the reality of a lot of people. A lot of people don't work with their principles, and as inflation gets worse, more people are going to be clinging to their jobs, right? Clinging to their sources of income, and maybe in that sort of position where they just do things because they need to keep their job. It's a what's the word? It's self-preservation, right? They're trying to hang on to their livelihood, even if it hurts someone else. I think we're going to see more of this sort of we might see more of this behavior as people become more desperate, unless they adopt Bitcoin, right? Unless they step out and start creating their own way to provide real value, and not be so desperate. But
there was another.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
I'm sorry, Walton. Yeah. I was just about to say that there was even another, even crazier experiment made to confirm this observation. It was Stanford experiment. I sent it in the chat here. This is like totally absurd. It was like even filmed, I suppose. And this was like, I won't go deep. Maybe just let Pleb look on it. But this was just, oh man, it won't happen anytime again. It was It happened in year 71. Yes.
Oh, what the fuck happened in 1971? Oh, well,
Look
it's
at
the
that,
Stanford
huh?
prison experiment. I was
man.
correct with it. Is the Milgram experiment? I think was
Look at
the
that.
one that I was describing. But
Yeah.
it's crazy what some people will do.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, moving on. I have a couple more things to share. I'm going to try and rattle through them quickly. First, a tweet from friend of the show, Magoo, quoting Peter Schiff, who said, "My customers just lost access to 100% of their money." I thought it's not funny, right? Like, you know, people losing access to their money, but it seemed like it was some sort of flex by Peter Schiff, right?
Look, right there, he doesn't take responsibility for it.
Right. For now, the people lost access to 100% of the money, but that's not my fault. You can blame the media and the government for that, right? Why can you blame the media or the government for people losing access to the money? Well, the point is when you have money in a bank account or in TradFi, it's like it's in a, I don't know, 2 of 3 multi-sig where I don't know, the bank has 2 keys and the government has a third or something. I can't think what the analogy is exactly, but it's, you don't have the keys, right? It's not your money. You're asking for permission to use this system, and when the system decides they don't want to give you permission, they don't give you permission, and you get rugged. So again, if you want to be in a position where you get to make decisions with your store of value, you've got to hold it in a sovereign way. I'm gonna move on to my next link here. The price action's been a little crazy recently, right? What's going on? Rory, one of best Bitcoin memers, had a take that maybe this $1 billion of Bitcoin that got sold by Binance recently was an intentional collapse of leverage longs. Essentially Binance betting against their own customers because of course they've got the order books. Just like Alameda was doing with FTX, right? I mean that didn't end so well. But I'm sure these kind of games happen, right? If you're trying to play, what is it? You play silly games and you win silly prizes, or you don't win the prizes, right? If when you bet at the casino, the game is rigged. Gents, your thoughts on Binance? I did also see actually just another thing that actually when Binance sold this $1 billion of Bitcoin, it wasn't for USDT as they usually do. It wasn't for Tether. It was for USDC. So maybe
that's right.
The US government and associated entities seem to have a bit of a stranglehold over Binance if they're essentially forcing Binance to start using, you know, the US government approved stablecoin rather than the international favorite. Your thoughts, Jen?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I definitely, I've said this in the past, right? CZ has done the public humiliation ritual, and all of his toys were taken away. And, now they've put their little puppet in place over there at Binance. And now it's time to continue to fleece everyone and pay the tolls. Like, this is, to me, like, this is just, yep, they're doing what they got to do to keep the lights on. And if they have to go and buy a whole bunch of USDC to show that they're kissing the ring, so be it. They're going to do that.
I follow. Yeah.
Okay, my final story for REKT, and it's
another
a
one?
bit of the last one. I'm sorry, Phil. It's an analysis
REKT is getting
by
wrecked.
Hakeem Warner, who's a mathematician that tweets about Bitcoin, who essentially is like thinking about what's going to happen with this halving, right? We know these shitcoiners want these quote unquote rare sats that don't exist, and so there's some kind of funny game theory at play, maybe, because all the miners want that block, and so is there going to be some sort of reorg? I'm just going to read through his tweets very briefly here. He says, assuming the halving block is worth many multiples more than blocks after it, here's what should happen according to game theory. Large miners and pools should reach out until a group with a little over 51% is formed. Then they make an arrangement to only ignore all blocks outside the compact until they have secured the longest chain. He means the chain with the most energy. Anyway, Number two, if significantly more than 51% are interested, it could get a little weird. Two likely options: A grand coalition of all coalition-willing parties agree. This is certain stability properties in coalition game theory. B, the easiest and lowest cost to organize coalition forms, which probably just enough of the largest groups to form the 51% threshold. Once the 51% threshold is reached, they don't recruit anymore. He says, no, this could be in secret and we may never know. The only way we would have an idea is if the block was mined by party A, then again by party B, and then new party C mines on top of B's block. We would have to assume that B and C are working together because the block A gets orphaned. He says, why might this not happen? 1, miners find a coalition too costly to set up and organize. 2, miners believe it will hurt the ecosystem in the longer term. 3, miners are too timid to pull the trigger. He says another option is that several large miners just go for picking a number, say 5, and committing to mine from behind it until they are 5 blocks behind. In this case, the non-linearity can be produced. Miners with 25% have a reasonable chance of coming from behind after a block or two. Often, but only up to a point, the miners' chances improve as other miners shoot their shot and take hash rate away from the default compliant pool. So some large miners may prefer an arrangement where there are several groups of 5 to 10% or so gunning for the block. He says, if I had to make a prediction, the large block will go to a large miner, and we will never know if they did anything behind the scenes to have extra hash on the side. It's probably too early in Bitcoin's life cycle for miners to start acting overtly aggressive. Why is this in REKT? It's in REKT because I think whoever's trying to do this, ordinal bullshit is going to get wrecked, in part because the miners are really going to be fucking around with this. And so there's going to be a lot of people that pay some crazy fees that may end up in some orphan block. I think it's highly likely. Your thoughts, gents, before we move on to Hopium?
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see some fireworks. I definitely think we're going to see some fireworks. I'm excited for this evening going into tomorrow. The next 72 hours, I think, has everybody very interested. So, yeah, my curiosity has peaked. Martin,
yeah, and again, I just follow. Yeah, you covered it. I believe that blog with such a number is like I don't want to say like a rare one, but it's kind of rare one, right? And I'm super curious to see what's gonna end up here. And I don't want to put any conspiracy theories here on the table. So maybe you've covered it well, Walton. So maybe let's move further. But I'm definitely super curious, to be honest. Yeah.
We're going to see. We can't stop it from happening. Guys, let us know what you think. Put it in the comments. That wraps up REKT. And we are moving on over to the Hopium.
The Hopium.
The Hopium is brought to you by CipherSafe. Check them out at ciphersafe.io. Guys, the Bitcoin Relo Triangle. All of the pet rock enthusiasts are going to totally love this. 16 ounces of solid titanium. Beautiful craftsmanship. Check it out at ciphersafe.io, the Bitcoin Relo Triangle. That's right, guys. The halving or halvening is upon us. And of course, you knew that this episode would have to have Hopium completely based on all of this. So guys, when does Bitcoin go to moon? Let's take a look. REKT Capital shed light on the potential timeline for Bitcoin's next bull market peak, emphasizing the critical role of the halvening cycle in shaping BTC's market trajectory. According to REKT Capital, Bitcoin historically reaches its bull market peak between, here we go, guys, you're getting some numbers in this, 518 and 546 days after a halving event. Start your countdown clocks, guys. See how real this is. Based on this timeline, the next bull market could be expected between mid-September and mid-October 2025. However, recent market dynamics suggest that Bitcoin's current cycle may be accelerating compared to historical norms. Notably, the Bitcoin price achieved new all-time highs approximately 260 days ahead of the usual schedule. That's right, guys. This time, it's different. Now, I'm kidding. Even though it is slightly different, I just hate saying that because we just sound like idiots. Anyways, Bitcoin has been undergoing a pre-halving retrace over the past month. This retracement has caused a deceleration in the cycle, pushing the timeline closer to 230 days ahead of schedule rather than the previously observed 260 days. This retracement has led to BTC slowing down its momentum, effectively lengthening the bull market cycle by about 30 days. That's right, guys. We're going to get a longer bull cycle maybe. Anyways, REKT Capital also introduced an accelerated perspective that considers the time from when Bitcoin breaks its previous all-time high to the potential bull market peak. In this scenario, the peak could be anticipated between 266 and 315 days after surpassing the previous all-time high. Given that BTC reached new all-time highs in March, this perspective suggests that the next bull market peak might occur between December 2024 and February 2025. So guys, we've got dates, we've got numbers, we've got this time it's different. Is it different?
I mean, should you trust predictions from a group called REKT Capital?
Come on.
Maybe not. But my favorite TA guy, Plan Dieter, thinks we're going to go sideways for the rest of the year and hit 200K in 2025.
You're putting a damper on the Hopium?
I don't know. It sounds like Dieter's in agreement. Maybe.
Not going to lie. I saw that tweet he put out yesterday. Right? What was that? We're done for the year? We're done for the year. Listen, I just want to say that this year in particular, okay, and he's probably going to get mad about this if he watches the show. He hasn't been right the whole time. Just say it. He hasn't been right the whole time. So maybe he's becoming a little bit of a bear bull.
You think he's getting too comfortable sitting by his pool all the time, Phil? Maybe. All right, Martin, you heard all those numbers, those magic numbers, the magic projections, the timelines. What are your thoughts? Do you care even?
Yeah, I don't care. And I like that there was like possibly by chance, maybe, theoretically, and we know nothing, right? And that's the most wonderful thing on it. And of course, it's like funny to go into numbers and it's gonna be different, or maybe it won't, but it doesn't matter. And just the fact that we don't know, it's like it gives us a freedom. And of course, like price matters, but and I already said it somewhere to someone, that does the fact that Bitcoin is so like pricey mean that, because we are comparing with dollar here, does it mean that Bitcoin is so great or dollar is fucked up? Yeah. So whatever, man. Forever, Laura. And I'm super optimistic. I'm super bullish, seeing how many people are coming into Bitcoin, how many stuff and things are developed in Bitcoin, how many newbies are asking me, and you must be facing even more questions from like simple plebs, and how people are just realizing that the way we live and work with fiat system is getting broke. Come on, this is the hopium, not the price itself. So I'm super happy to be Bitcoiner these days.
Very base take from Martin. Very base take. I appreciate that. I like that.
Thank you.
A lot. Yeah. All right. Well, look, guys, like I told you, this is a very simple Hopium segment, right? All about the halving. Let us know what you think. Every time I say lettuce, I keep hearing the word lettuce. Anyways,
Let us hands, let us know.
Let
us
hands.
for $7, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Guys, let us know what you think. Put it in the comments. And of course, that wraps up this episode of Pleb Underground. But before we go, Martin, one more time, let us know, where can the viewers and listeners get more information about your amazing conference, BTC Prague?
In Prague. No, but come on,
But
on
before
our
that,
webpage,
how did they get
BTC Prague, btcprague.com, and on our Twitter, that's the best place to be. Yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Guys, I've said it before. That's going to be in the show notes. This wraps up this episode of Pleb Underground. Don't forget, like, subscribe, help us grow the channel. Don't forget to check us out on our audio-only platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. If you want to stream us sats, check us out on fountain.fm. You can stream us sats through Breeze. All right, Walton, what are we doing here?
We're buying Bitcoin and we're saying fuck shitcoins.com. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
More toxic than the most toxic Bitcoin maxi ever. They said he's more toxic than the most toxic Bitcoin maxi ever.